Howard and Spitz. Are reacting to can Google reviews predict rat infestations? By Red the Bell, so give them some love.
One of the tastiest restaurants I had ever been to was closed down to a health inspection violation.
One of the restaurants that I used to go to got shut down because they were trafficking people. Like, I'm talking, one of the restaurants I used to go to, I think it was some Asian restaurant, I don't know, it doesn't matter to this story, but they were trafficking illegal immigrants, okay? They were trafficking illegal immigrants, and they were making the illegal immigrants do work for no pay. And the cherry on top, the illegal immigrants could not leave. So the owners were charged and convicted of human trafficking. So, that just goes to show you don't know anybody. You don't really know anybody. Hell, I could be a human trafficker and you wouldn't even know. Or I could be an AI pretending to be an anime girl on the internet.
The restaurant had over 4.5 stars on Google, overwhelmingly positive reviews, and apparently even had a few furry pets.
Yeah, that was the same thing for the restaurant that I used to go to. It had some good food. It had some good food, bro. Well, good food until it got shut down for human trafficking.
Pets running around to play with. That got me thinking, what constitutes a health code violation? Are there any correlations between a restaurant's health inspection and Google ratings or menu prices? And will we ever get justice for China Box? First, we needed to pull the health inspection data. I used New York City as there's a plethora of data available, and it's much more detailed than other metro areas. For example, I can get the actual details of each violation and useful data like the genre of the restaurant, whereas in London, it's effectively just
I should probably turn down the volume a little bit.
Just a thumbs up or thumbs down on hygiene, cleanliness, and safety. In New York City, there are 30,845 registered restaurants at the time of recording, split geographically as seen on the map below.
Let's do some math! Let's do some math! So, that is 30,000. Okay. Calculator. Let's do some napkin math. So 30,845. 3,485. And then divide that by like, I think it's like 8 mil. Again, napkin math. 8, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That is approximately 0.004 restaurants per person. So, let's say you have a town of like, I don't know, 40, 1, 2, 3. You would have 152 restaurants, assuming we use this per capita. Again, this is napkin math, so take it with a grain of salt. When I do that, I don't know, I just like math.
Time of recording, split geographically as seen on the map below. The ratings for the restaurants are on a scale of A, B, C, closed, pending, and not yet graded. A heavy majority of the restaurants, above 70%, have an A rating, which...
Basically, what this is, what you're looking at right now, is... This is health code. This is the health code. An A rating. A rating, health. Letter grading. Okay, this is New York. Since 2010, New York City has required restaurants to post letter grades that correspond to scores received from sanitary inspections. An inspection of score of 0 to 13 is an A, 14 to 27 points is a B, and 28 or more is a C. Grade cards must be posted where they can easily be seen by people passing by. Basically, I don't know. Basics, I don't know how to describe it. Basically, A grade, that is good. B grade, that is decent. And C grade, why are you even going? And closed is always closed. And then pending, that is an inspection pending and then not yet graded. Again, that is, well, it says it on 10.
Is comforting. If you were to just randomly select a restaurant, you likely wouldn't end up poisoning yourself. The ABC grades are based off of the inspection reports, where the restaurant gets a different number of points per violation. This ranges for things like one instance of inadequate lighting, e.g. lighting at a workstation of food preparation below 323 lux, whatever the heck a lux is, which gives you 2...
Alright, let's look it up. That's what you came here for. What is a lux? This is the Wikipedia article. The lux is the unit of luminance or luminous flux per unit area. It's its universal system of units, or SI. It is equal to 1 lumen per square meter. In photometry, this is used as a measure of irradiance as received by the spectrally unequally responding human eye of light that hits or passes through the surface. It is analogous to the radiometric unit watt per square meter, but with the power of each wavelength weighted according to the luminosity function. A model of human visual brightness perception standardized by the CIE and ISO. In English, lux is used as... Basically, it's a unit of measurement for light. It is measured per square meter. And it is in the International System of Units, where you may know a metric.
Points versus live roaches in an establishment's food or non-food area, subclass 20 plus roaches, which gives you a cool 28 points. In case you can't tell, this is like golf. Points are bad, and you do not want points. That said, almost every
can you score negative points?
restaurant inspected has some violations.
Yeah.
Over the 30,000 restaurants, there have been 84,000 inspections, leading to 289,000 violations, giving us a mean of about 3.4 violations per inspection. In terms of the most popular violations, we have everyone's favorite violation 10F, non-food contact surface or equipment made of unacceptable material,
that
not
is
healthy,
very
not properly sealed,
memorable.
Space removable, allow accessible for cleaning on all sides, above and underneath the unit, showing up in nearly 40.
Why can't I move this? Oh, come on. You're gonna have to work with me here. Non-food surface unclearing. Basically, a food surface is something like non-food surface, so that would mean something that doesn't come into contact with food. That would be like a chair, a floor, ideally a floor. Well, we all know food's getting on there. Anyways, a food surface, however, would be something like a kitchen counter, a table, a plate, stuff like that. So, 10F, that's 39K, and then pest harbor conditions. I'm unsure what that is. Plumbing, drainage deficiency. Basically, it is, the plumbing is cooked. Food surface unsanitized. Chicken. Chicken. This is why this is a big deal. Okay, so if a food surface is unsanitized, that can lead to the growth of bacteria, which, as we all know, not great for you, especially if you are consuming food. Even if you have a decent immune system, you can still get food illness. Cold food above 41F. Let's convert that to metric. 41, that would be 5C for my European viewers. And as you may tell, 5C is above 0C. And the reason why that is a big deal is because 0C means that the cold food is frozen, or ideally you want cold food to be 40 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. Because 41 to I think like 160, that is in the what we call in the food service industry the danger zone. Yeah, 41 to 140. That is the danger zone, where bacteria tend to multiply. And below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, the bacteria go dormant, so you can't kill them. But above 140, they start to die off. And, however, you may be asking yourself, why is chicken and ground beef at 165, 160 degrees Fahrenheit, respectively? Well, the reason why is this little illness known as salmonella. Salmonella is very, very resistant to heat. And salmonella causes hit conditions known as food illness. Somebody run a tally in the comments of how many times I said food illness over the course of this video. Anyways. This is salmonella. I think? Salmonella typhi. Source of typhoid fever, so it may look different. Yeah, but this is salmonella. Let me move my avatar so you can get a better look at it. Yeah, that's typhoid fever. You get this. Yeah, this is salmonella. Let me zoom in so that you can get a good look at it. Yeah. This is using a scanning electron microscope. Salmonella is a genus of rod-shaped bacillus. Yeah. Basically, it's linked to various illnesses, like gastroenteritis and other forms, other food illnesses, like, but not limited to, typhoid fever, the one you just saw, like, maybe a minute ago. But yeah, that tends to multiply like crazy in this region. And then 140 to 165, or 160 depending on how... Just cook your stuff to 165, it's easier that way. After 165, the salmonella die like crazy. And you want microbes to die. You may trust your immune system, but I will eat by hand if your immune system can handle salmonella. And if it can, try doing it again. If you survive that, either you have a goated immune system or you actually cooked your stuff. I am almost certain you cooked your stuff. And your immune system is not that goated. Evidence of mice, self-explanatory, filth, flies, or pests, no food protection certification. Again, this is what I've been talking about. Food protection, that is what I've been talking about for the past 7-ish minutes.
40,000 inspections. Crowd pleaser violation 4L, evidence of mice or live mice in an establishment's food or non-food areas, also cracked the top 10 with just over 14,000 instances. Interestingly, violation 4L is for mice, and violation 4K is for rats. So I guess the government expects the inspector to be some sort of a rodentologist in addition to their inspecting duties. This is a histogram of the number of violation points committed by the restaurants. The ranges from 0 to 13 sanitary points get an A grade, 14
Yeah.
to 27 for a B grade, and 28 plus for a C grade. And of course, everyone's favorite question: who had the most violation points? Well, that accolade goes to Tapas on Lex, with an astounding 18 violations and 214 points. Let me know
Damn!
below if this was your favorite restaurant.
18 violations, 214 violation points. Holy mo! Hold on, let's play that back.
And of course, well,
No hand washing facility or adjacent to. Holy what? Hold on, let me move this.
that accolade.
Insufficient or no hot holding, cold storage, or. Jesus! Man! Oh my! I don't know to do this justice. Like. Oh my god! Oh my. That is. Oh my god! Oh my. Oh. Oh my god! Let me explain to this. Let me explain to you why this is an egregious violation of food safety. Insufficient or no hot holding, cold storage, or cold holding equipment provided to maintain time temperature controls for safety foods, or TCS, at required temperatures. Basically, again, this is the whole bacteria thing I've been talking about for the past 20 minutes. Well, not 20 minutes, like 10. Without proper time temperature control, which, if you're watching my content, and you made this far, you probably are literate enough to understand what I'm talking about. So let's get into it. Time temperature control. Cold storage, or reason why this is a big deal is because without hot holding or cold storage, okay? Without cold storage, you cannot keep the bacteria dormant. You cannot. The bacteria will multiply. The bacteria will multiply. And no hot holding, that means you're putting new bacteria onto the hot food. Meaning that you just defeating the entire point of cooking your food. Cold holding equipment, you're putting more bacteria on the cold food. Defeating the entire point of you putting it in the fridge.
Accolade goes.
No approved written standard operating procedure for avoiding contamination by refillable, returnable containers. Okay, so like water bottles. Or cups. You know what? Let's just skip to number 11. Wash hand sign on posted near or above hand washing sink. Not as bad, but if you lived through COVID, you understand why washing hands is such a big deal. If you are Gen Alpha and when you were in your infancy when COVID happened, washing your hands is important, especially for 20 seconds. Wash your hands, because if you don't, do you realize how much stuff you touch? I guarantee you, it's more than you think. Like, right now, I've touched this coffee cup. I've touched my water bottle. I've touched, my keyboard. I've touched my microphone. I've touched, my headphones. My speaker. My, mouse. In 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I've touched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. I've touched 8 things in 20 minutes. In an hour, I touched a doorknob. I touched a milk jug. I touched, my cell phone. My fan. Which, thankfully, you cannot hear because I have an average noise suppression W. But I've probably forgotten like half a dozen things. So, again, you touch way more things than you realize, including your mom. Nah, I touch your mom. But yeah, anyways, washing your hands, you transfer a lot of bacteria. A lot of bacteria everywhere. So just wash your hands for like 20 seconds. It doesn't take that long.
Astounding. 18 violations.
Oh, this is another bad one. Anti-siphonage backflow prevention device not provided where required. Basically, water. Dirty water. Dirty water with a bunch of bacteria. Gets on the floor, gets everywhere, contaminates everything. That's why it's a big one. Lighting inadequate. Permanent lighting not provided in food preparation areas where... This is not a big one, but it's still pretty big. And the reason why is because humans rely on light to work.
And 204.
Accurate thermometer not... I wish my model could show the sheer disappointment on my face. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not even exaggerating for views. No. How did they... When they see me crash out? I spent 8 minutes. Not even 8 minutes. 20. Talking about food safety. More specifically, bacteria. I spent 20 minutes talking about bacteria and how they multiply in between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So a thermometer not being accurate. Thermometer not being accurate. How do you... I want to fucking throw something. That is how egregious this violation is. I spent 20 fucking minutes talking about bacteria. 20! So, if you don't have an accurate thermometer, well, I can eat my fucking hand. Because that's effectively how unsafe this is.
114.
Non-food contact surface or equipment made of onion. Oh, shit! Oh! Just read it. I'll move my avatar to make your life easier. Just read it. Alright. You probably read it by now. If you haven't, paused the video.
14 points. with an astounding 18
Hold on.
violations and 214
15, 16.
points.
Did contact with pest management. Oh shit! Not record of extermination activities not kept on premises. Oh shit! No wonder why this place got shut down.
Let me know below if this was your favorite restaurant, or what strange diseases you got from eating there. And do restaurants get cleaner or dirtier over time? Well, many restaurants don't survive long enough to get second or third inspections. For the ones that do, we see slightly higher violation rating on the first inspection, followed by a dip and then a gentle rise in violation points per inspection. This could be due to more of a newness factor, a lack of knowledge about inspections for the first one, and then an expected getting dirtier over time type situation.
Yeah.
The health agency also provides food type. The safest food types by violation points are donuts, hamburgers, hot dogs, and salads.
I should probably move this. Donuts, hamburgers, hot dogs, and salads. I could probably figure out why salads. They're salads. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. They're salads. Donuts. Half the stuff going into donuts is getting incinerated anyways. Hamburgers, again, half of the stuff is getting incinerated. Bottled beverage. Yeah, I have no idea why bottled beverage is worse than salad. And then Californian, it's California. Woo! Tex-Mex. No comment. Soups and salads. I have an interesting story about soups and salads. More specifically, soups. I actually got a food illness from soups. It wasn't a bad one, but the reason why soups is by far the worst on this chart is because soups are liquid. Liquids, especially sticky liquids. Sticky liquids tend to attract more bacteria because they're sticky. And because of that, you're more susceptible to getting bacteria on your hands, in your body, and that doesn't end well.
And if you're feeling more risky, you can try African, Pakistani, Filipino, Creole, or the number 1 overall Bangladeshi. Bangladeshi averages 31 points over the 336.
Creole, Philippine, Bangladesh. What the fuck is going on in the Bangladeshi sector?
36 inspections, being the only cuisine to average the dreaded C score.
What the fuck is going on there?
It doesn't tell us why, but perhaps foods like donuts or salads are just less applicable to many of the violations, like proper cooking of meat or thermometer requirements.
Yeah.
Since we have each restaurant's name and coordinates, we can pull its Google reviews and prices and join that to the health department datasets. If you think that sounds easy, you're wrong, and it's a complete nightmare. One option is to pay 4 figures of money to use the Google Places API. If you've watched my videos and you think I'm taking that approach, you are mistaken. Instead, we hide my computer's identity, scrape until we get caught, hide again, scrape again, and eventually are able to get Google ratings to match over half of the registered restaurants. Don't comment on this approach. I don't want YouTube to rat me out to their big brother. Of the ratings we could pull, here's a general disbursement of restaurants by rating. Restaurants have an average Google rating of 4.25. Here is the number of ratings that each restaurant got. So some of the 5-star ratings are probably just the owner and his buddy giving 5 stars. And some of the 1 stars are likely just the ex-lovers of the owner giving their 1-star reviews. In addition to ratings, we get the Google's $ estimation, effectively telling us how heavy your wallet would be after a date there. These range from $1 to $4 signs, with a slight plurality of the restaurants pulled being cheap eats, having a single dollar sign rating. There does seem to be a slight trend between the Google rating and the dollar sign estimate, with higher costing restaurants having a slightly higher Google rating. When we join
this
back
economy?
to the health inspection data, we find, as you wouldn't expect, pricier restaurants are slightly worse on violations. For each dollar sign, we expect 0.74 more violation points. In each of the price buckets, we get some slight differences on which violations are the most popular. For example, improper thawing procedures is more common in the higher dollar signs. Comparing the Google rating of the restaurant to the violation points, our regression line indicates that the numbers are not very correlated. With each additional star of Google rating, we get about one more violation point. To determine how predictive this is, we'll look at the R-squared value. R-squared effectively tells us how much of a change can be explained by the input. Like for this, how much of the violation number can be explained by the star rating. The R-squared value here is an incredibly low 0.0024, implying that there's virtually no legitimate relationship between the ratings and the violations. It's just random noise. I, specifically, am scared of mice, rats, cockroaches, and flies in my food, and don't have nearly...
Oh, I have some news for you, creator, if you ever see this. There is a certain amount of cockroach parts that is allowed in certain foods. In fact, in most foods. So if you got a shellfish allergy, you should avoid the foods that the FDA has given explicit permission to put a certain number, at most, a certain number of cockroach parts. Because shellfish and cockroaches share, I think, the same acid. Don't quote me on that.
Nearly as much concern about the lighting or the bottom of the fridge being cleaned. So checking the prevalence of 4L, 4K, 4M, and 4N violations, we see that some are loosely correlated with Google rating, but maybe not in the way you might think. Mice have effectively no correlation. On average, the highest rated on Google and lowest rated both have mice in the same prevalence, where cockroaches and flies are pretty strong correlation, with higher rated restaurants having fewer pests on average.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, ignoring ratings and checking costs, cockroaches are actually statistically more prevalent at higher cost restaurants. If we use the number of ratings as a generous proxy for restaurant busyness,
oh god.
we'll see.
Okay, so what you're looking at here is, you see these and these and this giant box. This is called a box and whisker plot. As you mean, these are the outliers. This is the median. This is median of this, median of this, and the median of everything. And what you're looking at here is the data is going down.
That the more commonly rated restaurants are generally lower violation.
Yeah.
Potentially contrary to what you might expect. Busy.
This is a very weak correlation. Now, I don't have the time to calculate this, but this looks pretty weak.
Busy places cleaning up better than less busy places. So, a 4-star Google rating doesn't protect you from mice, but a 2-star fine dining place might end up with you chewing on a cockroach.
Oh, Remember to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord. I have it thrown in the description, so if you want to support me there, I have it in the description on the screen and in my bio. Join the Discord. Again, that's going to be in the bio and in the description of this video. And if you want to watch 9 minutes and 26 seconds instead of, holy shit. As of recording, I'm probably going to trim this down. 38 minutes and 39 seconds. So if you want to watch this instead of 38 minutes, go give Ride of the Bell some love.